Hello, it's me, Denise, again. So I'm waking up right now because it's time to pump. This is from my morning nap, I guess. Since I still have not gotten back to work, I'm still pumping around 11, but after I sleep. When I start work, it will be 11 during my lunchtime. So I'm going to show you what I do to get started. I have my little one napping next to me at the moment. And my iPad's playing water noise, so it doesn't bother her as much. But if you hear her, I'm gonna have to tend to her, okay? So I'm going to get my pump parts and begin pumping because it's my time to pumping. I believe I'm full. She usually naps in this at night, but in the daytime, I put her next to me. I have my pump right here. I'm just gonna grab it. I'm moving next to my bed. And as I mentioned in a different video, I do have lots of bottles. I'm an exclusive pumper, so the way she gets her food is all the bottle fed. So I have lots of bottles, so I don't have to wash constantly. I wash about once or twice a day between after lunch and at night if I need to. So here are my medulla parts. Again, I have lots of bottles and parts, extra flanges, lids. Flanges, extra everything. So if I were not to wash right away, I still have parts so I could pump. And I have lots of Dr. Brown because this is what I used to feed her. And I could also pump directly into the Dr. Brown bottle. So I'm gonna grab one of those. And one of the medulla, because again, I use one for store, one for feeding. Sometimes I may need an extra medulla. I like to keep 2 feeding sessions right here because they last 4 to 8 hours and she will be eating those, so I like to keep 2 before my next pump. So this is what I'm gonna need to pump. Now I'm gonna go to the kitchen because at nighttime I typically put my pumping parts in the fridge. This is the dirty old bottle. I'm gonna take that to the kitchen as well. So I'm just gonna walk now to the kitchen. For the old bottles, like the ones that are used, I like to keep a little bin in the kitchen with some water. So if I'm not gonna wash right away, I put them in there. This will make washing later on a lot easier since Dr. Brown does have a lot of small pieces and stuff, and I don't want to have milk clogged, making it harder to wash. So I'll just stick them into this thing, into this bin with water in there. So they're just soaking. Whenever it's time to wash them, I just dump the water out and wash it. And then I have right next to my sink, of course, my Advent sterilizer, so I don't have to boil them. I literally just stick them in here. It takes about 5 minutes for it to reach sanitizing part. So I like this a lot better than when I had to boil. It even saves me time and I don't have to worry about being in the kitchen for 10 minutes trying to make sure I don't burn the bottles to crisp. So this is what I use to sanitize my bottles after I wash them next to the sink, because once they're down here, they go directly into here. So I came to the fridge and I got my 2 parts, a little Ziploc, and I already have meal stored from, let me show you, from yesterday and today or last night. I have to freeze. So take them a little bag. My pumping parts. I'm gonna take them to the room so I could begin pumping. I'm trying to make it quiet so I don't wake up my little one, so because she's trying to sleep. I already fed her. Put that down. So what I do, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and wash my hands. I'm gonna be touching her food. I want to make sure I have clean hands. Wash them. The bad part is I'm touching the cell phone, and you know, cell phones are dirty, but there's so much you could do. And drying them. 1 second. It's my sink. Just dry my hands. Turn this light off. I'm gonna go to my pumping area and set up to actually start pumping. I'm gonna stop the video while I pump and bring it back up after I pump so you can see what I do with the next process. So I'm gonna sit back down, get myself comfortable, because you know you're gonna be pumping for a good, everybody varies. Mine takes a good 20 minutes to an hour, so depending on how much milk I have in my boobs. So I like to use one of these blankets just in case if I leak milk, I could just easily clean it. It's not on my pajama or on my clothes, so I just like to put that on my lap. And I'm gonna begin. So I'm gonna set just the phone aside for now. As you could see, but not really see, pumping parts. Let me get them out of the bag. I have 2. The monkey also lets me put a place where I could lay stuff. So, Dr. Brown bottle. I usually like to put the Dr. Brown on my lazier boob because it feels just almost dry, a little 1 ounce more than what I need. So I just pour that to another bottle. And the Medela bottle on the right is because that one, I express a lot more milk on that. And I do massage my boobies whenever I'm doing this because I notice that I goes a lot more goes faster and I get more output on it. So time to tie my tubings onto it. Tube, flange, tube, and then I do keep my power cord next to my bed so I don't have to move it so much. Power cord, plugging it into my Medela pump. My pump is rather loud, so what I do when I'm pumping so my baby doesn't wake up, I typically cover it with a pillow so it kind of helps alleviate the noise. So as you can see my pump, I have my pillow right next to it, so I could just put it on top while I'm pumping, because it is loud in my opinion, and if I were sleeping and somebody started pumping like that, it would wake me up. So at the moment I'm just going to turn the camera a little this way so I could just put the pump stuff into me. So in just 1 second, I keep disposable pads because I do tend to leak sometimes depending on what position I sleep. So as I mentioned before in a different video I do put this on my flanges. Right now, since they're refrigerated, they still have residue from it, so I don't need to put it again. But if it was a freshly washed piece, I will put it again so I prevent from getting hurt. That helps with the friction. So and my other, I'll keep those pads because I usually use the pads for almost the whole day unless there's leakage onto it. Really, then I'll change it because I reposition them. It's expensive. So I'm done putting this on. I like to massage my boobs right before I begin, just so they're not as tender or they're not as hard. So I have my flanges on and then try to cover up so you don't see the nipple itself. This is the position I am on. I do like to tie my hair so it's not on my face. Excuse me. Okay, so I massage it just a bit. Hopefully I could let down. I typically let down right before I start pumping, which is great, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Again, I'm not trying to make noise as much because I have my little one right here sleeping. She does like to move and make noises every so often. Alright, so I'm going to begin pumping and then continue right after. I'm going to turn on the machine. I'm not massaging, just in case. and you hear it because it's loud first. That's the machine on. I'm gonna put the pillow over it because again it's kind of loud, and sometimes with the pillow I put the blanket over it too. And this is how I have it set up. So now I'm pumping. Again, I have the little blanket there, so just in case if I leak some milk, which is rare when it happens. And I could put the parts in once I'm pumping on top of the blanket because it's already clean. And now I'm just wait. I'll see you in a few once I'm done with the pumping and stuff. Oh, and take a look at the time, just so you know when you begin and when you will end. Hey, I'm back. Okay. It's time for me to take off my pumping part. I didn't want it to wake officially. I had to move her while I was pumping and all that good stuff. She's trying to use the bathroom because I could smell. So in just a few, I will have to change her soil diaper. But officially done pumping. It took me from 11:15 to 11:45, so about 30 minutes from beginning to end off the actual pumping machine, not from the whole process. So this is what I have got. As you can see, my Medela bottle is completely full, and my Dr. Brown bottle, it's partially full, like mostly. Again, this is my laser boob. This is my predominant boob. This one I'll put more in it. While I was pumping, I was pressing my boob, squishing it, sometimes squirts out more. This one I have to massage it to get the I put. This one I don't even touch it, and it comes that much I put. If I don't massage this one, it will be about 1 ounce on the bottom instead of what it is now. So I'm gonna take these bottles off and put it again where you could see but not really see, so it could be YouTube appropriate. I turn off the machine, which it's under the pillows. As I mentioned before, the machine is loud. So what I'm gonna do is turn it off. Right here I have my switch. I'm just gonna turn off so I can take out these pieces because I'm gonna run it back on. Sometimes there's humidity on the tube, as you could see. So I let the machine run so the humidity could go away. In just a second, I'm gonna put it back on. I'm gonna get my pads because this is what I'm gonna need, and I'm gonna get a wipey. This is what I use to wipe my boobie because I don't like to have milk right there. And I also wipe sometimes the flanges if there's milk on it, just where so it doesn't leak. So put it on my little blanket as I lay earlier. So I'm gonna cover the machine again and turn it back on so the tubing could just air dry. The moisture disappears if I let the machine run for a good minute or so. So I'm gonna take off my bottles and show you the output that I got there. So first, as you could see, this is one. I'm just gonna kneel it stationary there, hopefully nothing spills. I'm gonna wipe my boob, and I'm gonna wipe right here where you see the milk drop, just right there. Then I'm gonna place this right on my counter so it doesn't spill. I always have a water bottle next to me. I will fill this one with filter water so I could drink some water. The more you drink, the more you're hydrated, the more milk you tend to produce. And I have noticed that you get a lot more milk in the morning. I definitely get a lot more milk in the morning, like around my 4 a.m. pump. I'm usually pumping around 12 to 13 ounces. Beyond that, every pump I usually pump between 9 to 10 ounces, and I'll show you how much I pump right now. It's still kind of morning person. Took off my other one, put it on the, wipe the little where the milk, I don't want milk spilling on my counter, put it aside. I'll wipe my nipple because I don't want milk onto it. Reapply my disposable pad and put my nursing bra back on. So I officially have my bra back on. With the wipey, I'm gonna keep it for now just in case it will make a spill. I could clean something with it. Oh, my little one's time to change her diaper. The cloth, I could fold it up if it didn't get dirty, and I could reuse it. Or if it got milk, I put it in the dirty lingerie damper so it could get washed. Right now, I did not get dirty. So I'm just gonna fold it again for my next pumping session and reuse it. I'm gonna check to see if my tubing is moisture free, so I could turn off the machine. And look, earlier you could tell there was moisture on there. Now it's clear. The other one, the same scenario. It was moisture earlier, now nothing at all. So I turn off my machine. I'm gonna put my cords back into my bin, and the bin works out well, so I don't have to deal with laying on the bed. Unplug it because I'm gonna put my cord back onto the area where I took it from, which I have it set up right in my dresser or my night light. And I'll put my towel back in the bin. So I'll get up because I'm done pumping. I'm gonna put this back into my station. As I mentioned, I use Dr. Brown bottles for feeding, so I have lots of those, so as you could see. I'm gonna grab a second one. I'm gonna grab the whole piece because I'm gonna set up her feeding with what I just pumped. So I'm gonna just put it right here so you can see what I do when I'm done with the pumping. There. So I'm gonna just portion it out for her feedings, and the rest is gonna go to the fridge. So back to the Ziploc bag where I store my flinch. Sometimes like now I usually would not store this ones. I will put them in the sink soaking because it's my time to get up and eat, so I'll wash everything after. So I have my little baby there, baby towel. I'll just check for her feeding. She usually eats 3 ounces, 3 to 3.5. So I'm just gonna pour some out into the other bottle for the feeding. So I have the good measurement. Now it's 3 ounces even. That's her feeding. So I'm gonna set this bottle for her feeding. I'll put the parts on. And as I mentioned, I like to have 2 feedings because they last 4 to 8 hours on room temperature. And that's enough for me to get by till the next feeding. And the milk will still be secure, safe to drink. I always smell it just in case because I'm scared it's spoiled, but so far so good for 2 months that I've been doing it. And again, I'm just pouring enough for her feeding. All right, so there, I got 3 ounces in each of my Dr. Brown bottle. This one's gonna be for her feedings. So I got my 2 set up. I'll just leave them right here. And then I have 3 and 3 ounces there, and I have about a little over 4 ounces on this one, which I'm gonna store in the fridge so I can freeze up later on. Just grabbing a lid. My little one's away and grunting. So this is what I will take to the kitchen with me, and my flanges. So I'm gonna put my flanges away and head to the kitchen to store this onto. That's everything in my process you have seen, besides me walking to the kitchen and putting this on. Before I do that, I'm gonna change my little one's diaper because she's complaining and grunting, so that prioritizes. And we're done. Thank you for watching my pumping session and what I do before and after. See ya. Typically this, I will put it already on the sink and put the bag back in the fridge so I can reuse it, because if there's milk, I don't want to use the same bag and having it stick out for so long. So I'll put it, even if it's empty, back in the fridge. Unless if I see too much gunkiness or too weird cross-contamination, I throw it back and start a new one. Yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.